that if I'm being very honest, because I'm not going to like hide things on this podcast, because I think beforehand, what I would have done is like said the thing that made everybody that's listening happy.
Love McConaughey.
I love McConaughey. All right. I love McConaughey.
That's the stuff talking about McConaughey since you walked in.
The perfect way to look at success. You think how? Like you have curiosity of like, I can do that also, but how? I, for some reason, just think that most of the time I'm right. But like, I don't think of it in an arrogant way.
I remember your kind of initial breakthrough. That's shallow. You want to be the best version of yourself. That is a man of virtue, that is close to God, that is a man of God, but not even just that man, a godly man.
If I look at people who struggle with themselves and struggle with that belief of like they had troubled childhoods. And for me, I know every person that I've seen that's been super successful.
Going on this path to God through great pain is giving into the path that he has for me, because he knows better than I do.
The level of frequency you need to be at to surrender your life until you're equally and oppositely matched with your self-discipline and who you are. A reliance on somebody else that actually builds a family, because self-independence causes divide.
No, I knew you'd like that.
That's an amazing touch.
Boom, we're all done.
Amazing. It's a really good question.
This episode is sponsored by A Players Club, Europe's leading members club for entrepreneurs to grow their network and their opportunities as well. The private network built for industry leaders by industry leaders. From venture-backed founders to global operators and creators, A Players is where high-achieving men connect, grow, and build their future together. If you're ready to expand your network, unlock new opportunities, and optimize every area of your life, this is your invitation. And here's the big one. On December the 13th and 14th, they are hosting the largest entrepreneur event in Irish history. Affordable tickets, high level energy, and massive impact. Go to the aplayersclub.com or hit the link below to join the waitlist and experience what it means to be an A player. Enjoy the episode. Boom.
That way.
Yeah.
But I, for some reason, I feel like it's kind of necessary to do the attention grabbing things and then subprime and like just be doing the other stuff.
Yeah,
educationally, you kind of need to attract in some way. Because, like, for example, like with Eman, I would have clicked on one of his videos where he was probably going on a private jet when he was 23 and being like, wow, how does he do that?
Exactly.
And it's the curiosity that causes the intrigue. And then with the right intrigue,
then you draw them in.
The right reason, then you draw them in.
It's like a funnel, man. You get them at the top with all the flashy cars, the helicopters, the nice watches.
Yeah.
It's because and six packs as well. Because people desire that. It's what they desire. Yeah. And then from there, you just kind of, like you said, the more depth to it. That's why the YouTube's important. When you're talking to the cameraman, it's like people are really getting to know you.
Yeah.
Right, live. Lovely stuff. Mr. James Galligan, how are we doing, sir?
Mr. James meets James.
James meets James. It's double trouble here in the studio this morning. Yeah. And man, I'm very excited for this conversation. It's going to be an intriguing conversation that's going to go down many different rabbit holes as well. You're a man from Longford, first off.
First of all, to anybody watching, I've heard great things about how you ask questions and how you think. James went out of his way to hop on a Zoom call with me earlier on this week.
Didn't go out of my way at all, man. It was a pleasure.
Is it okay? But you do the right things, and I think that your work versus your timeline to success, you're so close to this like quantum leap for yourself in regards to your business. Because I was looking at your stuff, and you are excellent in regards to how you ask, how you bring out the best in someone, how you make them think during the conversation. And I think that it's only a matter of time before the James Hampton show. I don't even want to compare it to Williamson. I don't even want to compare it to Rogan. It's your identity and your thing. It's only a matter of time because you're doing the right things for it. And who you are, it's only a matter of time before you're rewarded by the world for the work that you're doing.
Man, I appreciate it. That's high praise from a man I admire a lot. So thank you very much, first off. You know, I think even before we got going as well, we touched on this concept of really knowing yourself. Spending time with yourself. That's where the value comes from, man.
Yeah.
When you know deep down who you are fundamentally and what your values are, what your mission is for life, what your purpose is as a man, you can't not succeed because all that discipline leads to a greater sense of intuition. That's something you touched on before. How do you yourself tap into your own intuition? Because you've done a great reel on it before, man, that I did admire a lot.
It's a really good question. I think that if I'm being very honest, because I'm not going to like hide things on this podcast, because I think beforehand, what I would have done is like said the thing that made everybody that's listening happy. I think to a degree that my intuition is very, very strong just because of how I was born and who I am and my upbringing. And I feel like I'm very, very drawn towards certain things at certain times. And in my life, the right people and the right things have always come in front of me at the right time. It's like, I can't describe to you how magical the journey's been.
Yeah.
And to a degree, that is complete surrender into knowing what is will come at the right time, will come at the right time.
Yeah.
And I think too many people put too much pressure on, I need this now. I need this now. Okay, I want this certain outcome by a certain time. But I was never attached to the outcome. It was always the process. And so I knew that the right person will come to me at the right time. And it always does, man, it's ridiculous. But I feel like that is part of my purpose and my responsibility, that when these people are placed in front of me at a certain time, or these opportunities are placed in front of me at a certain time, I'm like, I need to utilize this as best I can to give back to those who maybe don't have that exact opportunity, because it is luck. 100%.
And how do you spot them opportunities arising?
I think that when you don't force something, you don't have to force something, it's meant for you.
Yeah.
And so whether that's a relationship, whether that's business, no matter what aspect of life it is, if the right person comes at the right time, you will know that feeling in your heart. You're like, this is meant for me.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to force that thing to work, and you're with everything, you feel like you're fighting against the force to make it happen, I don't think that's for you. And it's not to say that you shouldn't go for certain things, but it will teach you certain lessons. The outcome of it will.
Yeah. Force and outcomes in life. It's so difficult sometimes because we humans are very driven individuals, and we're motivated by different things, whether that's money, whether that's love, whether that's whatever it might be, whatever. But like, yeah, there's an element of almost having a balance between both force and, like you said, feeling into that intuitive side of yourself, because there's something it's like a natural guide. When I think of intuition, I think it's like a sixth sense, and it just has you on your path that you need to be. But there's a few words you mentioned there that I think are very key, man, and very kind of spiritual words as well. You touched on surrender being the number one that comes to mind, because I didn't even want to go at the conversation just yet towards God, but now you mentioned it, man, I need to lean into it.
Of course.
But that art of surrender, where does that come from for you? Because surrendering, it's a very difficult thing just to let go. And one thing I realized going on this path to God through great pain is giving into the path that He has for me, because He knows better than I do. I could have this path for life that I want to achieve X, Y, and Z, and get this car and get this woman, have this, whatever. God knows. God fundamentally knows what's best for me more than I know. So I surrender into Him, surrender into the path that He has for me. Where does that art of surrender come for you?
The wall before intuition, the wall before surrender comes with self-discipline and self-esteem and balance. And so it's like you cannot access intuition. You cannot access the level of frequency you need to be at to surrender your life until you're equally and oppositely matched with your self-discipline and who you are. And so it's like you can't go to the bar every weekend. You can't be taking drugs frequently and expect that your surrendering will bring you the right outcome that you want, because you're on the opposite side. Your self-esteem, your self-discipline isn't where it needs to be. So you can only attract the discipline that you need and the outcome that you need and the surrender that you need when you're equally and opposite on the other side, always. And like, I know that you're a disciplined guy, so you feel like the right thing comes for you, because you know that you know in your head and your heart that your effort here will attract a certain outcome here. You know it. But people expect, maybe they're watching this and they're like, oh, but the good things will happen to me. But are you putting in the good work here? Probably not.
So align your actions.
100%.
Yeah. Align your actions is definitely key. You touch on self-discipline. How does that show up in your own life? Because you must be like we're definitely going to talk about it, but the success you have in your own life is incredible, and it's very inspiring, and it is inspiring a whole generation here in Ireland and across the water and abroad as well. And it's great to see, because maybe when I was younger, I used to look at someone that is successful around my own age and almost feel envious. I was like, what a fucking weakness that is, man. That's such just a weak mentality to have. And now I look at people that are successful and I get inspired, man. I go, fuck, look what he's doing. I look at it and go, if I channel my mindset in a way and I put my actions and get around the right people and shake the right hands, things may happen for me as well. So instead of looking at someone that's actually doing really well in life, instead of looking at it in a negative sense, now I'm like, fucking, let's get after as well.
You look at a person doing well and you think, how? And that's
natural.
The perfect way to look at success. You think, how? Like, you have curiosity of like, I can do that also, but how? And most people look at it with envy and they don't want to know how, or they the way how they will, I guess, demonize it to be like, oh, well, that's a scam, and the only scam is yourself.
Yeah.
But like, I think that, to go back to self-discipline, the biggest killer of men under 45 is themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that is not because that we need to talk more. I don't think it's because of that. I don't think talking as a man is necessary, our innate being that we need to do. Like, we're not women.
Yeah.
Like, there's a certain degree of buckle up and get the fuck on with things.
Yeah.
And then there's a degree of, well, you need purpose in life.
Yeah.
And I think that self-independence is probably the worst wave movement that has come in our recent generation. Because self-independence means the woman thinks that she's independent from the man. And the man also thinks like, I'm independent enough to where I can only rely on myself. But the perfect dichotomy is the man is like, okay, well, I rely on God or my bigger plan. And the woman relies on the man. It's never been self-independence. Oh, I want to go and do my own thing. I don't want to have kids yet. I don't want to get married yet because of X, Y, Z myself.
Yeah.
Because I want to be reliant on myself. And the amount of people and relationships that I've been involved in recently to where they're like, okay, but I need to be able to support myself. It's like, well, if you're with somebody, you should have, and if you're doing the right work within yourself, you should have the know that I'm with this person so I can rely on them.
Yeah.
And it's that sacrifice of reliance on somebody else that actually builds a family, because self-independence causes divide. And if a household can operate
so
on divide.
beautifully said. And actually, I was hoping the conversation would veer this way, because I do think forward to like having a family one day and that dynamic and how it's going to be. And the modern way families are set up, man, is so fucking twisted. It's unbelievable. And like you said, I have personally very traditional values where I would want my wife to stay at home. We can't clip this out, Dan. Don't clip this out.
That's staying in there. That's 100%
the
fine
thing,
to say.
yeah, man. And like you said, for the great example you gave there is that the woman is dependent on the man because the man provides and protects for the woman and the family. That's how it should be. That's how it's always been. But in the last kind of 20, 30, maybe 40 years, there's this rise in, feminism and other aspects as well. And it's just like, it's actually killing the family unit. And people are more divided and separating. Like you said, women, not that they shouldn't have independence. Women should definitely have independence. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying it's become very twisted in what it's all about. And the family unit is getting broken down. And how many divorces do we see nowadays? How many, single parent mothers?
Love doesn't exist nowadays, bro.
Love doesn't exist.
It doesn't. Like, dependence is purpose. If nothing, if you don't, it's not dependent on by anything. You know, like, well, why do I exist? And like, that's why men feel so powerless in relationships nowadays. Is like the woman's so independent in how she thinks and how she wants to operate that he feels like, why am I even fucking here?
Yeah.
Why am I here?
He's no role.
He's no role.
Yeah.
And so dependence gives purpose. And most men aren't dependent on nowadays because the world's got so feminized to where the woman is completely independent to how she thinks and how she operates, and her opinion is nearly above the man's nowadays. And if it isn't above the man, then the man is, emotionally damaging her perspective or whatever bullshit that feminism wants to spread. It's like self-independence is a bad move, because if a man isn't supporting something, he doesn't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, it gives him meaning.
It doesn't. And yourself, like, you've probably seen relationships in life to where the woman, I've been in so many dinner tables there where the woman overtalks the man or puts down his opinion or says like, oh, he doesn't do this for me, and like whatever. So like, he feels useless.
That's humiliation also.
It's humiliation. And
if a woman, man, that dynamic's completely wrong, because like, a woman should only speak highly of her man.
100%.
Because that's the contents of his character and how he is with her. But if a woman, man, that's a dead end. So, being around them dinner tables, if you're hearing that, it's like that relationship's not lasting because the dynamic's completely off. And also to belittle anyone, and especially in front of people, is complete and utter humiliation. And that's putting a man to shame.
For a man to feel useless, it is like, I've been there, man. I've been there over the last 12 months even, when you're like, I don't know what my purpose is here. I'm trying everything, but I don't feel like anybody listens to what I'm saying. I don't feel like people trust my word or my vision, and they're getting behind me no matter what the scenario is. And as a man, I want to know that no matter what decision I make, the person that I'm with trusts me 110% that no matter how they view it, it's the right decision for the family.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be with a man who you don't think is going to make the right decision for your family. Because I will always, and look, selfishness is definitely an aspect of a relationship. Like, you are going to be selfish. Yeah. Admit that. I'm going to do the thing that's going to get me the most money, power, or status. That is absolutely what we are doing. But as a byproduct, that will have a genuine benefit if you are tamed within yourself, if you know that you're not idolizing the money, you're not idolizing the status, but you're doing it because that's natural progression. Like, we're not on this planet to fuck around or sit about. We're down to get the best version of ourselves. And the best version of ourselves will, as a byproduct, attract these things. And so if you want your man, trust him 100% with the decision that he's making and depend on him. It's not a negative thing. It's a really...
And men want to be depended on as well. That's the bottom line, man.
Want to be and need to be.
Need to be, yeah. That is powerful. You touched on something quite interesting. Have you felt lost in the last year? Is that what you were alluding to there? Or did you mention that you kind of lacked purpose for a while? What did that look like?
My purpose was there. But yet again, when you choose who you choose to be surrounded by is everything. And there's a part of my life there over the last 12 months to where I felt like my vision and who I wasn't trusted anymore.
Yeah. Trusted in by yourself now or other people?
Other people.
Other people, okay.
A couple of people in my life, and you need, I think I actually called Josh after a certain aspect of my life had happened, and I said to him, like, this has happened. And he said, like, brother, the only thing that you need to assess in your life is this person in my life adding energy, increasing my frequency, or they're taking it away.
Yeah.
On like an 80% run rate here, like not like they need to be all the time increasing your energy, because that's relationships. Like you need to be.
There's ups and downs.
There's ups and downs.
Yeah.
But the general aspect of your day and week and month, are they bringing you up? And if that line of energy is actually on the bottom half of the spectrum, you got to go.
Yeah.
They've got to go.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
I remember reading in The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, he said, people are one of two things. They're either engines or anchors. And anchors drag you down, but engines give you life, man. And like you said, you want to be over that 80-20 mark, and also with that as well. I just recently got into reading the Bible, and I went straight to Proverbs, and he said the worst thing a man can have in his life is a woman that doesn't believe in him or that's always nagging, and it's like a leaky roof. Keeps on dripping away. It's like that fucking energy, man. Just expel it, because that'll drag you down. That'll kill your whole life for us. But you can't succeed to the same heights if you don't have someone that's like your number one partner or number one supporter. And that's what a man wants. He wants, I think, more than men like to admit, we want to feel supported. We want to be supported. We need them, words of positive affirmation just to give us something. Like, we want to feel recognized. There's so much that goes into it, and I don't think it's ever spoken about as well. Like, men require so much more than what we ask as well, because we're always going. We want to feel, we want to feel that sense of importance, but men want to feel praised.
Yeah. They do.
We want to feel praised. It does something to our self-esteem, and especially when it comes from someone that we love deeply as well. It's like, wow, we can get that praise. Just that's fuel to the fire, man. That'll send you to the moon as well.
Let's be honest. Like, if women didn't exist, we'd probably just watch football on the weekend and have a beer. Like, there would be no purpose.
Yeah, true, man. Yeah,
success for most of us. So I think that with life, with kids, with your relationship, that you are only doing what you're doing because you want to be acknowledged in that aspect of things, and you want to be viewed as other men as the best possible husband or boyfriend, or just powerful in any way.
Do you think much, you're quite a young guy, but do you think much into the future about having a family already, or how that dynamic would work? Or how would it look, should I say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, actually, a couple of my friends started getting engaged.
Seeing Josh got engaged as well, yeah. Congratulations, Josh.
Congratulations, Josh. 2 other friends got engaged, and I was like, this is the most gorgeous thing. Bringing back young engagement. Bringing back young marriage. It is such a risk. According to society. I think it's the most beautiful thing that you can do.
Do you know how long the concept of dating's been around for?
No.
Man, I heard this recently. I don't know what anyone may think it is, but it's on average 160 years. So before that, people were kind of like, we used to live in small communities in small towns. You'd be kind of matched up with Mary down the road, or John, who has a lot of land. John's got a lot of land, man. You got to give it John. But the thing is, like, we now live in this kind of fucking mad society, man, where it's so twisted. Now that I'm reading the Bible and understanding, even like when you have sex with someone, man, that's what I was talking to Dan before we came in. You form this soul connection with them. Like, sex is unity of two people, two souls come together. And we just live in a world where it's like OnlyFans and fucking porn and just like go out and be young. And I'm just like, I'm thinking now, man, this is so fucking twisted. It's unbelievable.
It's
and people are being programmed this way. You've got like shows like, not to condemn, well, kind of condemn. I'm going to condemn it small, but like Love Island. And it's like, this partner, that partner, and you know,
Promiscuity.
like promiscuity, man, and polyamory, and it's all like you had Dan Bilzerian a couple of years ago, and he used to be idolized because you walk around with like an entourage of fucking 30 women, and every man was like, oh my god, I'd love to be him. And now he's came out the other side. He's like, it's actually not about that. And I think he might be monogamous now as well, which is incredible. But like, just like we've got to reprogram our minds. And like you said, the beauty is literally within young marriage, people being faithful to each other, having that trust, like the man, like I think what it is more than anything, I think every man just wants to have one faithful woman who's loyal to him that's going to give him a family.
So Tate used to spread the message of you are not a well-equipped man unless you have 3 to 4 like women. And my view was always that set with me wrong. Even though I maybe 17-year-old, 18-year-old James might have believed that for a second. Self-analyze, I'm like, that's not the point. The point is like you get yourself to a stage where that's an option, but you choose and you are dedicated and disciplined enough to choose one and stick with one. Because the challenge is that lust is always there. And that doesn't mean that you are more of a man because you give into that lust. Like Justin Waller, for example, would say like he doesn't believe in just one woman.
Yeah.
Or he's a multiple. He said that's a reflection of your power as a man. No, it's not. It's actually the opposite.
It's a weakness, man.
It's a weakness.
It's a complete another weakness.
You can't control your lust or...
Why can't you be faithful to a woman? That's discipline,
strength.
man. That's strength. That's
strength.
Discipline. That's
strength.
Self-control.
Yeah.
You giving into your biology every time. I talked about in the Bible, man. I'm only getting into it like more and more, like I mentioned. If we give into our flesh the whole time, you're almost discarding of your soul. Like your soul knows deep down what it requires. It doesn't want many bodies. Like what is the point? It's so shallow. It's so weak. And I think it's a shadow part of like your masculine energy as well. To be like, you need validation or you need to tap into like, just give into every fucking urge. I'm like, where's the strength there? The strength does not exist there at all. Sorry, I cut across there because you were saying something quite interesting. What did you say? If we go back like 30 seconds or a minute, what did you mention there? We're talking about family. To it on Justin Waller. Oh, lust. Lust is something men find very difficult to control. And actually, I love when people get irate about things when it kind of grinds their gears, should I say. But like, you're not a fan at all of OnlyFans. Or OnlyFans. Why would you be? But like, I do love how pissed off you get when I've seen you talk about it before.
Yeah. We have a strict policy to where no one in our circles can be involved in the industry at all. It's disgusting.
It's absolutely disgusting, man.
And I think that it's a huge problem. And this, there's going to be a new leap with this generation. There's going to be a divide in knowledge and discipline and in lust, in work and business. There's going to be a huge divide in regards to who's going this direction, who's going that direction, because the downhill spiral of the other direction is downhill.
Yeah.
And the uphill spiral of, I actually think that fat people are a huge problem. Because I actually was going through the airport.
Literally a huge problem.
Huge, big, very big problem. I think fat people are a very big problem, literally. And
we will get back to the conversation in just a second. But if you're enjoying this episode, please leave a 5-star review, share with a friend, and make sure to hit that follow button for the next episode. And what this will do is just help the podcast grow and grow so I can get bigger and better guests as we go along. All the best.
Because they are the people who leave hate because they hate themselves.
Hate themselves, yeah.
I was in the airport and there was this overweight, like 22, 23-year-old guy going by me, extremely greasy, wasn't looking after himself, was scrolling on his phone, eating shit. And I was like, he 100% has a no face profile and leaves comments on Instagram and TikTok. And because I know 0 guys who go to the gym, show up, are good in business, are disciplined, have their priorities straight, who would even for a second think about doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And so the people who are overweight and ill-disciplined are the problem because that leads into hate in every aspect of life. And so I think we just need to make it mandatory that a Stairmaster needs to be hit at least 3 times a week.
Guaranteed, man. But also it's like, I often say, if you want to know a man, just look at his values and that'll determine, or not even determine, it'll demonstrate his character in life. And someone like that example you touched on there with that guy in the airport, it's like the reason, you kind of touched on already, but the reason why he's leaving all them comments is he hates himself internally. And it's because you're given to instant gratification. Like if you give in to porn, if you give in to eating the food, if you get into just living a lazy life, it's like you're no value as a man.
No.
You shouldn't even be classed as a man. We should have like, maybe we shouldn't come up with another gender, but like another bracket of what it means to be a man. Because I think I like what you said there. Like there is this new age, let's say, or movement that is happening where people are becoming more aware of who they are, what they're about, the decisions they're making. They're no longer maybe scrolling. They've maybe stopped drinking. They've stopped vaping. Because you've had your own kind of 360 moment as well. You were younger, and I've just seen, obviously, based on your Instagram, once upon a time, maybe you're drinking excessively, you're vaping all the time. Like that was a younger version of you that was not going through to that same extent as that guy, but like you had your own time. Maybe you were giving
I was a kid. I was 18.
Yeah.
And I was never a huge drinker. I actually didn't drink till I was like 17. And I was actually the one guy who didn't drink at all the younger discos, and I used to be weird for that. And then, I used to start drinking, and then during COVID, etc. And I had probably a couple of puffs of a vape in my life. I actually was never an excessive vapor, never a smoker, never did drugs. So like I actually, it was a 360 moment in regards to who I was and who I identified as 100%, but I never was like down a spiral of drugs and all that sort of stuff, because like my parents always, I think when you are told so heavily and so strict, like the strictest parents I've seen have kids who are off the walls, and my parents gave me the space to do what I wanted to do, but I'd tell them if I was going to do something. Yeah. And so I always, could confide into them. I also seen the negatives and the downside. I was like, why should I start smoking? Because like I've only seen, never been anyone's life impacted in a positive way by smoking, has it? Yeah. And so like I never viewed that as a necessity. Always seen cocaine as like, well, the people who do cocaine, do I want to be like them? No. Okay, well, why would I even try it then? Like, what's the point? Because it only goes downhill from there. Like there's no point in experimenting in that direction. But yeah, I do like in regards to what you're saying about the divide and things, because I think even in my business world, I'm seeing that divide, and I think that people and young guys, especially people in business, if they aren't on the new age AI way of thinking, even the guys in business right now who are in sales and doing their own agency, all that sort of stuff, if they don't equip themselves with the right people, the right advisors, the right long way of thinking about business, they are going to be fucked in the next like 5 years, because things are going to move so fast, and those who are in it with the business intentions are going to win. Those who are in it for the money are going to lose. They're going to lose.
Why are they going to lose?
I think there's a very, very, just not to be doom and gloom here, I think that the people who don't cop on and are doing business for the right reasons and understand business by business, they are going, unfortunately, I think, from this high of, I have this money here, 10K a month, 15K a month, blah, 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 to nothing. And that depression of seeing that life and knowing that you were there before and now you're back down to zero is actually, I'm worried about them people. I actually am in advance, because right now there's this wave of people starting their own business, becoming entrepreneurs, when you're not really an entrepreneur if you do sales. Like you're not an entrepreneur, like you're an entrepreneur. And you're not an entrepreneur if you work with an agency and you're doing graphic design. You're not an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs start and create their own things. So entrepreneurs is a word that's been thrown around, but we use it because what else do we use as someone who is in business, doing online remote stuff, etc. But this wave of sales and design and marketing and media buying, etc., the people who are there and are decent at what they do, not the best, not really too focused on being the best. I think in the next 4 or 5 years, the decline of people in the online space who are making money is going to go down dramatically. And I fear for them personally, knowing that they were there before and knowing that way of life, getting used to that way of life, and then going down to here, the purpose that they'll feel is going to be like
despair.
It's going to be bad.
And how do you see them save themselves if they were to?
70% of the time that they spend should be internal in their business, but 30% of their time should be spent on the next step at all times. Operate internally, think externally, because if you're consistently operating within your business, and even if you're focused on becoming the best at what you're doing, like the sales or the graphic design, you're not thinking about how to build a business or build an empire. And so all of my life, so like by accident, I was accidentally listening to the greats at all times, no matter what I was doing. And the greats, if you listen to them closely enough, they will tell you how they got there. Yeah. They'll tell you the struggles. They'll tell you how they think and how they operate. And how they think and how they operate is where they find purpose. A friend of mine recently is in like this business where he does essentially Instagram shout outs based on, because he has 5 million followers on this Instagram theme page, etc. And he was like, he's struggling to find his purpose. And I was like, brother, because you're thinking about in your business too much. Your purpose is you're a strong lad, you're young, you're driven, you're very, very disciplined. Your purpose is you need to invest into you and your growth, not your business all the time. It's not your business growth. People always talk to me about hey, bro, I need to put this money aside to go back into my business. No. Your business does not grow if you do not grow as an individual. And so it's like, you can put all the money in the world back into your ad spend, your content, whatever it is. But if you're not internally growing within yourself and your individual self is not going to a new level, your business is only a reflection of what you know and how you operate. And so if you're putting money back into the business and you haven't grown as an individual, your business is going to be a direct reflection of that.
Yeah.
So you're not going to win. And so now it's about, okay, can I study the greats? Can I study Musk, Bezos, Chesky, Hoffman, Rockefeller, Flagler? Can I study the greats in regards to how they operate, how they thought? Because they always had constant purpose, because there was always new level, new devil. There was always new systems, new things you have to learn. And when there's new things that you have to learn and we're not in a constant cycle of the same thing, you constantly feel purpose.
Yeah.
Because there's a new thing to learn. But if you operate internally and there's a circle and you don't feel a self-growth within the individual, you're cooked.
So where have you invested recently into yourself?
It's not about financial investment, but time investment.
But time, even like, so I'm referring to time, energy, information.
There's actually a podcast called Founders Podcast.
Oh, it's brilliant, man.
I love it. I love it. And I dissect so much beautiful stuff from people that I admire. Like people, the greats of the greats, have done it in a like very honorable way of doing things. Yeah. And people will talk negative about like Rockefeller and it being like an unjust way. That's business. In business, there's ruthlessness. There's people who are not going to be happy. There's going to be monopolies. Monopolies, for me, is a reflection of good business. It's not really a reflection of being a bad person. In business, you go for the next best thing, and sometimes the next best thing is acquiring certain markets. You buy your competitors out. That's just how it works. So monopolies aren't a negative thing. Overall, they're just a reflection of business. And so my self-reflection has now gone into studying those guys on these podcasts. I don't read too much, but when I do, it's going to be the greats. It's not going to be like business type books. It's going to be like, how can I think differently? Just think, man, it's all, I remember I used to listen to these gurus like myself nowadays, and they'd be talking about mindset, and to a degree I'd be like, sure bro, shut the fuck up and tell me how to do it. Yeah. But then now I realize once you get past the hustle phase of work, if you're still working, you will never get to the next stage. Yeah. And so you have to withdraw yourself to go from good to great. You have to sacrifice the good of what you're doing to withdraw yourself to think about, how do I get to the greatness? And that's important also.
And for you personally, what does that leap look like now, going from good to great?
So going from good to great for me was a fact of like, hey, I was working within my business. I was doing certain things I probably shouldn't be doing because I was so in the weeds. And I was withdrawing myself to the fact of, hey, if my business goes down 20, 30, 50, if it goes down 80%, I do not care, because I'm putting systems and teams in place that allow me to get to the next level. And then when I go to put all my money back into advertising or content, etc., the efforts are put back into the business. Now there's a structure in place to get to the next level. And so I always need to focus on, how do I break a system so now I can self-reflect, learn, go back and do that again with a better team. And so I always seek to break things. I always want to break things. If you're not breaking something, if you're not feeling stupid, you're not growing within your business. I know many guys who are so comfortable in knowing what they know, but it's the growth in what you don't know.
And leaning into that. Yeah.
It is.
Tell me, you just touching on business here, psychology around marketing. I heard you touch on it recently. What are some lessons that you've learned in regards to marketing that you feel are beneficial for other people to know as well?
Trust grows as fast as a coconut tree and breaks as fast as a coconut falls.
Trust grows as fast as a coconut. Is that what you said?
Coconut tree.
Coconut tree. And breaks
as fast as a coconut falls.
Okay.
Reputation is everything.
Oh, I love that.
I was talking to you before this about Irish TikTokers and influencers.
Yeah.
They don't have a reputation or an identity. And so for me, I'd rather build a business in a slower way with less attention and less eyes on, and build it with an identity and brand, because brand and business will separate yet again this new wave of, hey, I'm an individual in the online space making money doing XYZ thing, versus I'm a business owner doing XYZ thing. And the only separation of them things is now viewing yourself as a business. When you view yourself as a business, you have an identity behind your brand. An identity could be to do with how you post content. It could be do how you frame things. It could be what you wear, how you talk. And so for me, I want reputation to be solid.
Yeah.
And we've had like 700 processed payments and 0 refunds and 0 disputes because we never went for scale until we knew we could not know, but like I know that like no matter what I go to do, I will take the time to make sure that people are happy with my stuff.
Where does that insight come from?
The insight?
Because that insight, because like you're thinking ahead, you're very you're thinking from the perspective of the customer, of the client that's coming into your business. And you touched on it in a reel as well, where the first 3 business events you lost with 12K.
Yeah.
But there were 3 things you took away: social proof, reputation. You can name the third one for me if you remember. What was the third one?
Bro, I do not remember, but you were doing an excellent job and good study. For example, Brian Chesky, when he started Airbnb, flew to New York and stayed on the couches of his first customers. Is that scalable? No. People, 20-year-olds come to me nowadays and say, bro, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing because I can't exit the business. I'm like, brother, shut the fuck up. Exit a business. Brother, no one exits businesses. Fuck all people exit businesses.
Yeah.
The most experienced people in the world struggle to exit business. It's not about you being 20 years of age, being in a vehicle to where you can exit. You're in a vehicle to where you can learn. And then you will somehow, maybe in the future, possibly get into a vehicle that you can exit. So I never thought, hey, I don't know if A players is my long-term vision because I don't know if I can exit it. Brother, if you get good at what you do, you will stumble into opportunities because you're good at what you do. And if you're good at what you do and you stumble into these opportunities, maybe there's an exit there. But you don't need to exit everything. I think the world's shifting from that enterprise value, let me wait 15 years, get investors to fund my lifestyle, exit a company for 100 million. That's like, that way of thinking is great if it's matched with the cash flow business. So if you have a cash flow business and you're also building enterprise value long term, that's amazing. And that's one of the biggest missions that we have over the next 24 months. We want to give as many people who have good talents access to opportunities where they can build that enterprise value within these micro SaaSes. I don't want to get too business jargon based, but like I want people to have access to a business to where they feel like there's a 10, 15-year vision, because most people live month by month in business nowadays. So I know I went off topic there, but going back to Brian Chesky's point is like, that wasn't scalable for him going to the first couple of people who were on his app. But now we knew his customers better than ever. And that's scalable.
And it's the depth.
It's the depth. And most guys want to know the fix to how they can acquire more customers before they know their customer. And you can't acquire what you don't know because your messaging is too broad.
Yeah.
And you don't know the benefits of what you're doing.
So you feel like in that case, what you kind of touch on there is just have more heart, put more heart into whatever the business is, because that's very apparent, I would say, from looking online in regards to what you're doing with A players now, is that like you're obviously the face of it, you're running very well. Even when I was referring to that reel, you lost money initially in the first 3 events, but you lost it with the intention of giving an experience that they couldn't get anywhere else. And then they'd walk away with your reputation in a better place. Your social proof is there. They've acquired that as well. And then with that as well, like, people are going to talk about it. So they're going to spread the message of how great it is. And
lost money and time to gain trust.
Yeah, that's it. Well said, man. The networking side of it, though, how powerful do you believe that is? Because that's why you're giving the guys that are inside A players is this chance. And also community, man. Oh my God, we touched on community before we got going. That's the fundamental of what it is. But even networking, let's touch on networking first. How important do you believe networking is in regards to just life in general? Shaking more hands, as you would say. Shake more hands.
Shake more hands. But let's say it like this. As the world goes towards one spectrum, there's always an equal and opposite swing. Always. And so in business and in life, if you see an extreme, there's an extreme somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so I see the extreme of AI, human disconnection, automation, operations. I see that means that there's less humans used for less things, and there's less communication used because you can go to AI and you can solve your problems, so you don't need to communicate to anybody.
Yeah.
And so when there's this swing that direction, there's going to be a natural cause for human connection. And that's the reason that these run clubs, the matcha clubs, the networking clubs, the masterminds, they're popping off.
Pilates as well.
Pilates too. I don't hate Italy. That's the reason that they're popping off, because they bring you a sense of fulfillment.
Togetherness.
Because you know, probably the best thing to do for your business is, if it's growing, it's going to grow with probably AI. It's going to grow if it's systemized. And so you know that if you're doing that within your business, you want to externally connect to people. And network and community and who you shake hands with will give you access to a higher version of self.
Yeah.
Because when I talk to people who are smarter than me, who know more than me, and those who don't know as much as me, I learn. Actually, I made a video recently and I said the third most important thing I think every young man needs is a white belt mentality, meaning that they can learn from anybody in any room. And if you're listening smart enough and there's someone below you who says something that you're like, that's just not true, it's their perspective. And like that means that if it's their perspective, it's probably the average perspective of that person at that frequency. And so sometimes you need to accommodate your sale, your marketing, or your content to that group of people because they're at their perspective. And then also learning the long-term longevity mindset aspect, way of operating and execution from the guys who are way ahead of you. And so you shut up and listen to everyone, because if you take in the right information, you can win on both sides.
Yeah. To be teachable. Teachable is very important. To be a great teacher, you got to be a great student as well. And have that ability to listen. You touched on, where do we go this next? You touched on not marketing, mindset you mentioned there. You talk about brainwashing yourself. And you touched on quantum leaps as well. I love that word. Josh,
This podcast is brought to you by the Bond Brothers. And the question I have for you is, wouldn't you want to be walking around feeling like the man? I feel like that's a complete no-brainer. There's a real psychology behind how we dress. And when we look sharp, we move differently. And that's where the Bond Brothers come in. Irish Groomswear Supplier of the Year with their premium store in Goatstown. They offer luxury wedding suits, tuxedos, and expert personal fittings to make sure that you show up like a man on a mission. Head over to the Bond Brothers Instagram and contact Brendan, and he will make sure that you walk away looking dapper. Bond Brothers, where confidence is tailored.
I use that word a lot as well.
I love that.
That's a great word.
We can go there.
Yeah, we can go there. Quantum leaps for yourself. You've obviously probably had a few in your lifetime already. Do you remember even the lead up to them quantum leaps? Or do you even remember your kind of initial breakthrough? Did you remember like when you were kind of felt yourself breaking through or coming up?
It's always so hard to go back and access the way of thinking that you used to operate at, because you don't, you kind of, you forget it and you kind of throw it away because you don't want to go back there. I just know that in my life I don't think so, because I always was and believed that I deserved it. So I didn't feel like it was a quantum leap because
it was going to happen.
It happened anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Where does that come from? Because
I don't know.
Where does that come from?
It's a gene.
It must be something, man, because anyone that's successful in life, they often say they know. They just know. It's like this internal conviction where you're like, you've just got this confidence, like it's going to happen at some stage. You're going to meet the right person, or you're going to get the right business model, or have that opportunity, or have that breakthrough. It's like, it's a belief, but I don't think it's a belief that almost comes from, it's coming out of you, don't get me wrong, but it's like, it's something that, like you said, it's in your genes, it's given to you.
It comes from parenting.
You think so?
And being raised in the right way.
Really?
Like if I look at people who struggle with themselves and struggle with that belief of like, they had troubled childhoods. And for me, I know every person that I've seen that's been super successful, like even like if we go talk about McConaughey, his parents.
You love McConaughey, man.
I love McConaughey. All right. I love McConaughey.
That's the stuff talking about McConaughey since you walked in.
I love McConaughey, man.
All right.
I actually have Just Keep Living, LIVIN tattooed here.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. But he talked about his parents always told him, like, no matter what you're going to do, McConaughey, you can do it, but just do it right. And I love that.
Good
And
advice.
my parents always told me that I can do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
And so like that belief was like, hey, James, that's not impossible. It's not even far-fetched. It is if you want it, because someone has it. And if someone has it, you can get it.
That's a great belief, man.
It's innate. And so if you don't have that by your parenting, you need to brainwash yourself now by your surroundings. And so if your environment isn't a reflection of that way of thinking, you need to get into an environment that is. And that's why these communities are so like prominent right now, because people know that if they're around certain ways of thinking, they're like, I'm going to grow.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful way of doing things. And also, if we are going to go into quantum leaps, I think that Ireland in itself as a country needs a quantum leap. It does.
Yeah.
And it is, I feel the tide coming.
Yeah. And what would that look like, that quantum leap? Is it in regards to the way we think, the way we operate, how, like, just everything?
Yes. Ireland
at a younger generation?
Yes.
Yeah.
It starts with the younger generation. Ireland's culture needs a shift. Ireland's culture, especially Midlands-based, especially countryside-based, in any country that people are from, they talk negative on change. And I think that when I started out in the online space, doing my own thing, there was a lot of whispers, a lot of hate. But now them whisperings have turned into curiosity.
How couldn't they?
How couldn't they?
Yeah.
And then like I don't blame them based on their perspective back in the day of like other people doing certain things. And
Did you ever have that perspective or that outlook?
Of
like of not necessarily condemning someone, but maybe not talking highly if they were succeeding?
You just wouldn't know if it's true until you see it with your first hand experience. And I think that when people see Irish entrepreneurs actually going to do something, they're like, okay, they're actually doing it for long enough now. And their message isn't fake because it's not possible to fake something for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
And so I think that Ireland as a country, the quantum leap is coming. I think that we're going to host a huge event here in December with like 2,000 people. As I said to James before this, we initially wanted to do 500 people because we were like, that 500 is a lot, but let's sell it out, let's go for it. And we were ringing around because 2 months out from December in Ireland, you're not going to get anything booked in Dublin. Yeah. Like it's a nightmare. Anyways, we secured a castle for our VIP thing, but then we were like, okay, well, where are we going to host a workshop? Because I don't want it to be in like UCD, DCU campus to where it feels like you're in school again or it's corporate. I wanted you to walk in and be like, this is fucking sick. Like it changes your mind as you walk in the door.
And it's an energy. It's an energy thing as well.
Energy. Yeah. I don't want to be around school buildings. I would rather not host the event.
Because you're actually moving away from that.
100%.
Or that way of thinking.
It's a shift.
Yeah.
And so I rang up the convention center and was like, look, you're probably going to think I'm crazy for even asking this question. But by any chance on Saturday the 13th, do you have the auditorium available? I was like, it's probably booked out years in advance, but is it there? And they were like, let me check. They came back to me and said, hey, sir, I think it's possible. It's there. And I was like, book it. It's done. Text into the group chat that I have with Josh, Warren, and David and said, hey, we need to sell 2,000 tickets. And they were like, done.
Here's a promotion of it now. It's happening.
It's happening.
Happening already.
It's happening. So we booked it there yesterday. No idea how we're going to sell 2,000 people.
No, you'll sell it, man. You'll sell it.
We'll do it.
In regards to the actual event itself, do you have any idea how you'd like to structure it or what's it going to be about?
Yes. Yes. It's going to be based on the quantum leap way of thinking. Number one, it's going to be the beautiful blend of old school way of thinking, old school way of operating, longevity mindset mixed with cash flow, short-term mindset, which is good in different aspects because if you have someone internally into your business thinking short-term, they're optimizing for cash flow. And optimizing for cash flow mixed with enterprise value equity type plays coming together as one, mixed with the quantum way of thinking mindset-wise, it's going to be ridiculous. And with these events, I always want to create an experience with an event because an experience leaves you with like a mark.
It's a memory.
So it's not what you learn essentially. Like you could have the best speakers in the world there. If it was doom and gloom, if it wasn't cool, it wouldn't be memorable and it wouldn't shift their mindset. I had guys who came to Marbella to our first event there last summer. It was €500. It was like nothing. I lost money heavily in that event. But they came out and they seen a certain way of living and lifestyle. And they seen like these certain cars or inspiration in some way. And they went home and they were like, I can't go back to reality again. And I want people to walk into our rooms, come into our event and be like, I can't go back to reality. I know something I didn't know before. I've unlocked a new way of thinking I haven't learned before based on the experience that I had. So game time.
Yeah.
That's the experience that we want to create. So we're going to do some fucking wild shit, man. I want helicopters there.
2,000 people as well, man. That's a lot. That's a big crowd, man.
It's a big crowd.
You doing much public speaking at the moment?
No, but I'm actually investing into a public speaker.
Interesting.
Like a program.
How's that going?
It's like ridiculously expensive for an hour of his time. But I think that a degree of my time now is going into podcasts and listening to people like McConaughey. He was like, who is the person that you want to speak like if you could speak like somebody? And I said, I love how McConaughey gets his points across. How he's like storytelling, how he's using his body language, his hands, how he's like so chill. And I'm like, I'd love to be able to speak in that manner. And he's like, okay, perfect. So we're going to work on that now. And I think that public speaking is the next stage for, if I'm honest, everybody who's at a certain level of business past the hustler stage needs to be able to communicate in a certain manner to get their vision across. If it's internally, externally to their team.
Yeah. You're building authority as well, man. If you're stepping on a stage, and I think there's nothing more powerful than the voice, man. It's, I've probably said this to you already, was the most powerful instrument that exists in the human planet. Like if you can speak and speak well, they call it to be a great orator. Orator, I think is the term, but they had it back in the Greek times. And great orators could evoke emotion. So if you speak with a certain depth, man, you'll change someone internally. And if you can just visualize yourself right now, standing on that stage in the oratorium with 2,000 people there, and you're getting your point across, and you're literally emotionally, because humans are all based on emotion, man. We're just like, that's how it is. If you can pull something out of them and change their way of thinking, man, you'll change your life completely.
Yeah.
And it's a fascinating thing. And it's just like, begin to use your voice better. One thing that's really helped me, man, and I would do the same for you as well, is if there is books that you are interested in, just read them out loud and actually practice speaking the whole time. And then you go into a conversation, it's just everything's kind of a bit more of a flow. It's just, it's a natural skill to have. And I'm telling you, I've doubled down on it in the last year. And I even have this internal confidence because just the words flow a bit better.
Yeah.
And it's like, I have conviction now in how we speak. And if you can speak with conviction, man, game over.
I think that you said the exact thing, that is communication is conviction in what you're saying. And so I think that public speaking isn't necessary in the hustler phase because you haven't proved yourself to anything. All your thoughts are based off theory or not off lived experience. Man, the life that I've lived over the last 2 years, I couldn't write it down. There's been so many ridiculous stories, meetings, and experiences in general that like I've shaped my way of thinking based off my experience. So when I'm speaking, people I hope will listen and they'll be more drawn in because they know it's from experience. Yeah. But if you're speaking off theory, I had many people I've worked with in the past tell me things. I'm like, well, is that a like stat? Is that like what you think? That's what I think. I don't care what you think. Show me the stats. Show me your experience. Have you done it before? I haven't done it before. Okay, well, why are you coming into my business? I don't want you here. Yeah. And so, yeah, there's certain hires you make for certain reasons, obviously, but like at that certain hire, I wanted them to know the stats and know the actual outcome based off experience. Yeah, experience. And so, yeah.
Confidence. Where does confidence fit into all this for you? Have you always been a confident guy, or how would you describe your?
Always a fucking. Yeah.
You don't want to go there now?
No, I was always just like talking probably when I shouldn't have talked and yapping and.
Have you always had an internal confidence about yourself?
Unfortunately,
yeah. You see that as a bad thing, do you?
No, I know that it can come across as arrogant, and I'm working on that. Like I have.
Do you find you're a bit arrogant?
100%. 100. I know, but
I love the honesty, man. I
know it. Like,
why is that? Is that because you've had such great success in life that you feel?
Man, before I had success, I just used to talk shit.
Man, you need to believe you are it before you become it.
Man, I think that I know that entrepreneurs who have ego are the most successful entrepreneurs. I think that ego tamed, and I think that I'm learning to communicate in a more humble manner externally, but internally know how I am.
Man, that inner narrative is the most important talk that exists on the planet. And to be honest, if it's hyping you up the whole time and it comes across as arrogant, if you were to say it back to someone else, who gives a shit, man?
You know, arrogance is perspective, though.
Huh?
Arrogance is perspective also.
What do you mean by that?
Josh could say to me tomorrow, like, hey, James, I believe I'm XYZ type of person doing XYZ type of thing. I'd be like, okay, that's normal. Yeah. But people might see that as arrogant that are below you. So I think arrogance can be
that's a good thing,
based on who's listening to you and who's talking.
And where they are in life.
Exactly. They can view it as arrogant.
Yeah. That's a great point, actually. Confidence is key, though, man. I don't believe you'll achieve all that much in life.
Where does yours come from?
I think before we got going, I touched on it. Meditation has been huge for me, man. I couldn't talk more highly about meditation because it's just given me this license to go and be myself. And man, I don't give a fuck what people think about me. Not that I don't care of their opinion of me. I don't care. Like, the validation just comes from me. So if I can have this internal validation and just know who I am at my core, that's all I need. Then I've got, good friends around me, good people. I always have great people around me. So I'm blessed in that sense. But I just think confidence is a byproduct of really just trusting yourself, showing up for yourself. Because, we're all striving to be our best selves. Like, who on the planet does not want to be the greatest version of themselves? And that's where that discipline comes in, man. When you're being disciplined and you're showing up day after day after day and you're reading the books, getting around the right people, doing the great podcasts, hitting the gym, eating healthy, man, getting to bed early, avoiding all the fucking voices, avoid all that bullshit, man. Like, you want to be a virtuous man, a man that has desirable traits about himself, not a man that gives in to fucking porn, to drink, to drugs, to multiple women. That's shallow. You want to be the best version of yourself that is a man of virtue, that is close to God, that is a man of God, but not even just that man, a godly man. You look at him and go, Jesus, there's great guys that I look up to, man. Even, you'll have to remind me of his name, man. He recently, you love his content as well. American guy, got shot recently.
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. Like, that's a godly man. You look up and that's a virtuous man that you admire. And that's what I'm striving to become, man, each and every day. And that's why I believe more people need to lean into. And this new age movement that you touched on, and with this seminar you have coming up, you're going to change so many people for the better and guide them on that path that They almost, I would say, need to be on that because
need.
life is way more fulfilling. And like you said, we're only around here for a limited amount of time. So why not make the most of it?
You said two things there. Number one, validation comes from self.
Yeah.
I think the most dangerous thing is being friends with someone whose validation comes from external factors, because they will do whatever it takes in whatever scenario to get that.
It's so empty as well,
especially females. Like I know many, I would never be with a female who reacts to something by posting an Instagram or posting an Instagram story because they seek the validation of somebody else to be sane or to feel normal in that moment. Like if someone likes their story, like, oh, okay, now I can breathe again. You know what I mean? So I think self-validation is key. Yeah. Because we all fall into that trap every now and then, and that's fine. Of like,
it's great getting a few likes, man.
It's great. I'm not hating on it.
That's a fucking drug in itself.
100%. The bat signal came out as soon as I came to Dublin. I'm in Dublin. Who's out? And in all seriousness, I think we all seek validation in some regards. But like I think 90% of the time, if you know that like your validation comes from who you are and your self beliefs, that's the biggest challenge for young men. Because as young men, we don't have responsibilities. So now it's game time. It's game time now. It's not game time. There's no risk in now. There's the responsibilities that come when you have a kid, when you have mortgages, when you have rent due. That's the scariest. That's the risky shit. It doesn't need to happen then. The responsibility that you have now as a male is to be the best version of yourself. And that includes financial risk. And the biggest thing that I've learned now is financial risk is not a risk because money flows. And if you're in a belief that money flows, you're not scared that when you spend it, that it's going to come back. It's not going to come back. Because the belief of, hey, I don't want to spend that money on myself means that you don't have the belief that you can earn that money again. And that is nothing to do with financial irresponsibility of spending money on stupid shit. That means if that money is going to raise you as an individual intellectually or frequency-wise or spiritually, that's an investment that needs to be made. Yeah. Because that's going to unlock a further version of you that even the current version of you can get money back. Money flows. We're blessed to be from
the internet age.
Internet age, Europe, US, places where money's accessible no matter where it is. If you have to go beg tomorrow, go do it because you can get the money. The money's there. And so I think the biggest shift for us recently has been that self-validation of, hey, of course I'm going to spend this money on myself because I deserve to do it. Yeah. And also, I'm not scared that I'm not going to sign a client when I need to or if I have to. I can make that money back because I know I'm valuable as a human. Yeah. And so I think many people hold back their responsibility, especially young men. And it's a huge issue because the sad thing is there's going to come a stage and point to where you have too much on the line to where you have to calculate things. You have to calculate your risk. But now there's no calculation anymore. You got to just do. Because when you do, you learn. And that growth is necessary to break things and to risk things and then figure, oh my God. Quote, I want your perspective on it. This is generally the most relatable, best quote that I've ever heard in my entire life. And I've asked people their perspective on it and they have struggled to like see it. But I'm going to ask you 3 words. Limitations reveal style.
Limitations reveal style. That's a good one, man. That's very good.
I love this. What does that mean to you?
Limitations reveal style. Oh, I'm going to have to take a second here. Come back with a proper answer. And the answers you've received before haven't been...
No one has even answered the question. They said, what do you think about it?
Limitations reveal style. I think it says a lot about someone. You see, because limitations are something we place upon ourselves. So, man, this is a good quote. It's getting me thinking.
It gets you thinking. These are, man, this was said in passing, but I heard, I was like, whoa. Limitations reveal style.
It does reveal everything, I suppose, because, oh man, I'm trying to
flesh something out for me, because for me, it's like for the watchers here, I want you to be thinking in this very moment, limitations reveal style. What does that mean? And I that can go, it's based off perspective, because that can go here, or it can go physical limitations in regards to your business, or where you're from, or your upbringing. So limitations reveal style. So what's that mean?
I think you're capped. So limitations means that you're capped in something, and the style of how it's presented would mean it's also not...
The style of how you escape the limitation.
Okay.
Limitation reveals style.
Yeah.
How you get out of a situation that you probably shouldn't get out of shows your talent and your resourcefulness, not your resources. So limitation means the resources that I have to get out of the situation are extremely low, if not necessarily probably impossible. But my resourcefulness to find a style to get myself out of the scenario is everything.
Oh, that's flipped. Actually, I was viewing that completely wrong.
Yeah.
So the limitations reveal style. So your resourcefulness reveals how well you'll go and do.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
I love that.
I was viewing that completely differently.
I love that in business, in upbringing, in environment. Best story I can give you in regards to this was Airbnb was 7 years old. It had 40 employees. It had raised, I think, about 10 million over 7 years. And they had one office in San Francisco. There was 3 German brothers called the Sammer brothers. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. But essentially what they used to do was copy US-based companies, do a copy like in Europe. So essentially to be in a startup, they'd see the rise, they'd copy it in Europe, and then the US company would essentially have to acquire them if they wanted the European market, right? And so Airbnb was 7 years old, 40 employees, one office. These Sammer brothers, in 30 days, raised 90 million, had 300 employees and 40 offices in 30 days.
Wow.
And it created a competition to Airbnb in Germany, right? And then essentially they went to Airbnb and said, hey, if you don't acquire us, you're never going to be a successful company because you can't take over the European market. And what is a company in the travel industry that can't go to Europe? You don't exist then.
Yeah.
And Chesky was like, fuck. Because they had just created a company that essentially was acquired by another company called Groupon. Essentially was this like virtual code stuff. Groupon had to acquire them for 9 figures. After 90 days of business, they made the company in 90 days and were acquired for 100 million.
Wow. By
just copying that company in the European market, right? Because Europe's so far behind in regards to innovation. Anyway, they went to Chesky and said, look, we'll sell our business to you for 25% of Airbnb and all future profits. Chesky was like, okay, fuck. Because the one thing that his advisor said to them when they were, I think it was actually when Paul Graham, the owner of YC Combinator, said to them, as long as the Sammer brothers don't copy your shit, you're fine. But if they do, you're kind of fucked, right? Anyways, he takes a step back, calls Zuckerberg, and he says, Zuck, like, what do I do? And it was either Zuckerberg or Paul Graham that said to them, you are missionaries, they're mercenaries. You're going to win because you care. And Chesky took the perspective of, okay, these guys are used to making businesses that get acquired after 90 days, 6 months, 12 months. Chesky goes, it's like a baby. Businesses are like babies, okay? Over time, it grows and it gets to a certain point as a baby that, like, you know, after 2, 3, 4, 5 years of age, it matures. But a business needs to mature. It needs to go to the baby phase. And most people aren't willing to go to that 18 years of having the kid, essentially the business, and the headaches that come with it. So Chesky goes, let's play the game. He says, you try run this business. You try have the baby and hold the baby and mind the baby instead of giving the baby off. And so essentially he said to them, run it, try your best, right? Chesky goes, and after that challenge came to him of like, hey, we're going to fuck you over here in Europe and you need to acquire us or else you're fucked. He went on, after 7 years of basically having one office and 40 employees, he went on a sprint. He was like, it's game time. And he burned everything. And he went, okay, fuck these guys. He's like quantum leaping. He made a decision that now is game time because these guys showed me it's possible. So now, why? Like, what's the limit based on? Okay. And there's one more thing I want to go into after this. Essentially, Chesky goes, takes over the whole United States in regards to market, goes and acquires the second competitor of this company in Germany and bankrupts the German company that went him with the approach of, you're going to be fucked if you don't acquire us. Yeah. So he went and acquired a company, bankrupt that company, and took over the European market after that. And what that also shows is the 4-minute mile theory. I love this. Is before the 4-minute mile was complete, the 4-minute mile was impossible. After one person had completed it, only 5 to 10 did it within the next like 6, 7 years. Yeah. Since then, 1,200 athletes have run the 4-minute mile. Not because we're like faster, because we've accessed here to believe that we can do it. And so when you see somebody, and this comes down to environment, this comes down to business, when you see someone do something that you didn't know was possible beforehand, you now are on that level of frequency and way of thinking and knowing it's possible. Because in business, I've been a victim of my circle earns X amount of money, so that's the limit that I bring myself to. Yeah. And then when someone in my circle goes and blows something out of the water and they're earning, 6 figures a month, I'm like, cool, I can do that too now. It's there. Yeah. And so the 4-minute mile theory is like, if you get yourself around the people and the experiences that show you that it's possible, now it's possible. Now it's game time. Now that same mile that you were running beforehand, you know for a fact it's possible. So you're going to kick yourself on that extra percent that gets you across the line and wins.
Yeah. In regards to consciousness as well, how do you level that up? In regards to, is it getting around different environments or getting around these people, or what is it internally that you're doing within your mind to brainwash yourself to the next level?
There's probably two waves of consciousness. The first one is removal. Though, let's say you're in your current environment right now, and let's say that isn't the consciousness that you want to get into, but you're in that no man's land of not being valuable enough to be in another circle to where, these guys are always, because no one wants to be dragging anybody anywhere.
Yeah, true.
They don't. Because that's dragging their consciousness down if they have to feed their energy to somebody that doesn't get something.
Yeah.
So first stage, if you're in a bad circle, is withdrawal of being in that circle. So it's not going to the dinners, it's not going to the drinking, it's not going to the sports, whatever
Separation.
it is. It's separation. And it's your own self now. It's you versus you, conscious level. You are going within yourself. And then you get to a stage where you've worked hard enough on yourself to where you're at a certain level of consciousness to where you understand the guys above you, you understand your business, your skill sets, your value. And now you have access to this new wave of consciousness, which is the new groups that bring your consciousness to a whole nother ball game. And that's why these like seminars that we're going to do, for example, it's like a shortcut to that way of consciousness because you get access to that room. And it's short, but you go home then, and after you've removed yourself, you now know what consciousness level is there for you to access. If you know what I mean.
No, I know where you come from, yeah. It's exposure. Exposure is a big part of it. And if you can get around the right people, there is something about it, man. The more I've done masterminds and different things, and even podcasts like this as well, you come away a different person.
Yeah.
Like your thought process is different. You're viewing the world differently. Your perspective, how you're operating then, and how you show up changes as well. Like we're so influenced by the people around ourselves, and especially if we admire someone, we'll replicate what they're doing to such an extent where we want to become them.
Question for you.
Go for it.
Over the last, I guess, your journey in the podcast game, which I just view as the business game in general, and a self-development game, what's something that you've learned with your current stage and your responsibilities over the last 12 months you didn't know beforehand? Like your perspective on business, your perspective on life. Like what core lesson did you learn that you know is now a way of being that you didn't know beforehand, if that makes sense?
Could you repeat that back?
So over the last 12 months, in your growth of business and your journey towards getting bigger, better guests or asking certain questions or building your business to where now it's more monetizable or getting sponsorships, whatever it is.
Yeah.
What has your journey been and what's the realizations been over the last 12 months that you didn't know or access before?
Realizations being you can turn pro at anything in life, man. And I think it bridges that gap once again, going from good to great. It's like, do you really want to? Do you really, really want it? Like, where's that drive coming from? And ask yourself these questions like, what is the vision? What's the ambition? I've got more serious about asking myself them questions over and over again. I'm like, I need to level this up because this started in my back garden, man.
Good.
Started in the shed in my back garden.
Good.
With a friend of mine. I was doing a personal training with him at the time, got him in shape, so I had him on, we're doing a conversation. And from there I was like, I kind of like talking to people, man. I like talking to cool people. And I like asking questions, man. And I like just diving deep on different things. And like you've given me a seminar here in the flesh about business, marketing, and all the examples of great stories you've given as well. It's like, I just want to be around better people, man. I want to level, like I want to live a great life. And that comes from acquiring information and shaking the right hands and being a person of value. That is the number one thing I've realized, man. People, like you said, don't want to be around you unless you're giving something to them. And life is all about giving, man.
Yeah.
That's one of the keys lessons I think I've learned over there. Just keep on giving, man.
Yes.
Life, be good at receiving at the same time. Great book called The Go-Giver talks about that. But at the end of the day, just give. And why I do these podcasts and have great guests like yourself on is so I can give back to my audience, because I believe in life, man, a big part of life is being of service. It talks about it over and over and over again in the Bible. Be of service to others, because we get such, not just value within ourselves, but like the human nature, man. We're meant to be supportive of one another. And for me, this is becoming a library of just great guests that I have on, providing great information, so the people that listen become wiser in the process.
You have no idea. Like, you just said the word give, and I know it's important to you, but it's so important
in life,
like,
man.
And the reason that people like you or listen to you is because they know, they don't feel like you're trying to take, and they don't feel your attachment to an outcome.
Yeah.
And I think that when people are at the beginning, or even when they're growing and when they're networking and talking and are selling, it's like you're giving. like all the time.
Mm.
And like you said that there, like you want to give.
Yeah.
And that comes across as authentic. Because I know when people want to take.
Mm.
And no one
It's
wants
very clear, man.
no one wants to be with anybody who wants to take anything. And what people don't realize is if you have a give-take mentality around the big dogs, they don't want you anywhere near them. If they feel like you're leeching off them in any aspect, they don't want you near. Because if you're not giving to them in regard to value, you're taking to them in regards to time.
Yeah.
Because people think, oh, because I'm a young, hungry guy, these guys want to be around me. You're taking away their time. And most of the time, the time to these guys is more valuable than the value that you can give them, because the value that you can give them is accessible wherever they fucking want it, because they're successful.
Yeah.
And so I think you said the word giving is a reflection of Brian Chesky when he started Airbnb. He went to New York to sleep on couches with his first employees. You were starting these podcasts. You're spending money out of your own pocket to make sure that these people get a good listen and learn things that you want to give back to them for some reason.
Yeah.
But then that's why they like you. That's why they trust you. And if people can bring that into their own lives and can give without wanting the outcome of the take, they will attract.
Of course. Oh, man. Oh, that's crazy to set attract. Oh, my God. So in that book, The Go-Giver, great book. It's a business book. And 5 key elements, but it was one of the laws, the law of reciprocity, yeah.
Yes.
The whole point, man. The most magnetic people on the planet touches on it says this line in the book, the most magnetic people in the planet. Everyone wants to be magnetic. They want to be liked. They want to have that aura feel like we touched on earlier on. How you do it? You give. You just fucking keep on giving, man. You don't stop giving. And I think humans feel better when we give back as well. Giving's way better than receiving. I get a present, man. It's great. But if I give a present, fuck, I feel amazing, man. Not from the fact that I want to almost manipulate this person. It's like, I value this person, so I've done X, Y, and Z, whatever it is. A small gift or small letter. I'm like, I want to make this person feel cherished, because in life, man, you get one opportunity to make a first impression. And then just as you build a relationship or build a friendship with someone, it's like, how do you show them that they are valuable to you? Man, I love people. I love people so much, man. I love being around people. I love having these conversations. And I love making people feel special in my presence. And presence is very important. If you want to give anything, which is the greatest gift that I believe, is presence. Because when you're present with someone, you're attentive, you're in the moment, you're not in the past, you're not in the future, you're here, right now. It's beautiful, man. And
I love what you're saying. Like, you're in a scenario, and people listen very closely, you're in a scenario to where you're given, and you're not looking to receive from that exact like transfer, or like you're not looking to receive from that person or that like situation at all, because you know that it will come in some other area of your life.
Yeah,
because you're given freely. And I encourage people to, even if there's a person in front of you that you're like, okay, they don't look like they have that much money, okay, they're getting like snacks or whatever at the shop, just pay the €10.
Yeah,
you have no idea the feeling it will give to you, and the goodwill it will build in your life.
Goodwill,
because goodwill attracts luck.
Yeah.
I think you can only get lucky if you're giving enough to where enough opportunities can come to you and you're like, okay. And luck is about perspective also.
Yeah.
Because if you're not in a position to get lucky, you can't get lucky. And so being in the position to capitalize on luck in itself is actually a work of art.
Yeah.
And so I think if you don't mind, I have a quote.
Go for it.
Stay in the game long enough to get lucky, because not just for your own luck, but someone can create something that blows up your industry or your chances of luck. An example that I have for this is in 1970, the MLB average salary was about $20,000 a year, okay? And that was because there was no television, okay? So they were great baseball players, but they could only get paid on who showed up to the stadium, because no sponsorships, no television, no access to anybody outside the stadium, right?
NLB mean National League Baseball, is that what it is? Or whatever.
MLB, Major League Baseball.
Major League.
By 2005, the average salary was about 2.6 million for MLB players. And that's not because the level of players changed. That's because the look of right place, right time, television kicks in, exposure kicks in. So they weren't better players. They just got lucky the television came in. So like if you stay in the game long enough, something can come and blow up your business or your opportunities in the right way, because new opportunities come for somebody else. Gives you luck as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you believe you're lucky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I swim in luck. And I think believing you're lucky
is important.
It is.
Man, every morning we'll have a cold shower, hop in there, fucking hate the cold shower, but the words and affirmations I always say to myself, I'm the luckiest man in the world. Even if things maybe necessarily didn't go great yesterday, just keep saying it, because it's like this. It's a prophecy that will be fulfilled because you just repeatedly say it to yourself, and you're programming your subconscious mind that's always listening to yourself, and you keep on saying it, man. I don't know, man. Just lucky. Some lucky opportunity just tends to come your way.
Those who walk around as a victim and say they're not lucky that attract no luck.
Oh, the negative, man. Yeah,
because you view luck as what's meant to be will be for me, and you don't view a negative as not being lucky. You just view it as a lesson. Yeah. And those who view things not going their way as I'm not a lucky person, that's not true. You're just not viewing it from the right perspective. Yeah. And so believing you're lucky is a way to gain low.
Have you had many paradigm shifts within this, transformation of yourself over the last couple of years, even in business? Has there been like one or two times you're like, wow, that there was a real big change in how I view the world or in perspective? I know obviously you mentioned being in different rooms, shaking different hands, but like, has there been things that you fundamentally have been like, wow, that was one time that something did shift within me?
Two.
There's
2 times. Number 1 was when I went celibate.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
How long did you do that for?
1.5 years.
Good man.
Yeah. And then I obviously had a relationship.
But
before
so
that,
you went celibate for, where did the initial intention for that
come? Because my sales manager at the time, when I was working for Iman, came up to me and said, James, you want to attract a certain level of girl, right? Yeah. And I said, of course I do.
This is a good topic.
Of course I do. I want to attract a certain level of girl into my life. Okay. Well, is your reflection of your behavior right now, not that I was excessive in any direction, but like, is your reflection someone that person that God would give to you? Do you deserve that? I said, I don't. And so I went sober and went celibate then for like 500 and something days.
Brilliant.
And the biggest lesson I learned that is that a man who can control his lust and say no to any woman can control anything in his life.
Anything,
because even in the Bible, the greatest, most wisest man in the world, Solomon,
King Solomon,
fell to a woman.
Crazy.
And like, so if you can't control lust, and I think I'm jealous of that version of myself in the past, because like I had that flip of a switch where it was actually just like, it was black and white to where nothing's happening. Whereas like, when you're half open to things, you're kind of like not fully bought into being completely against anything. And it's like, I don't feel like I'm that version of myself right now that I want to ask that again. And second one was actually very recently. Like, I think that we're playing a different ball game to the guys that you see online in regards to like, they're selling like coaching programs or whatever it is. They think so internally. They think next month and they want to earn X amount of money. How me and my friends operate and think, James, I'm telling you that like, there is zero chance that you won't see something like generational shift in business or way of thinking or some sort of movement. The tide is changing with our group. I have 100% faith, because the way we think is not how others think. Like, the way we execute in business is not how others think. And that's down to the people that were around me. I was talking to these guys that were exiting software companies for about 60, 70 million. A friend of mine owns the F1 ticketing software. Like, there's some crazy entrepreneurs I was talking to recently, and they just completely changed my mind in regards to how I think and operate in business. Yeah. And James, you have no idea in regards to what we're building. Like, right, like you have no idea, and you will see over time, because with time the fruits will show. But most people are so operating internally that they don't take the 30% of their time to think about the game plan. Yeah. What's happening? Where are we going next? What's the move? What's the chess play? Because if you're not aware of your next move, something can come in from behind you. You can't duck it. You can't dive it. You're like, you were so internal to now the limitation reveals style, to where we were like, okay, here's the bracket that we're in. Here's the way that all these online guys are going. They're going this direction. Okay, well, we got to go right.
And is it because they're moving in that direction, you're like, we can't be part of that tide? Or just because you're so different already?
They don't think about longevity. They want now to have money. Yeah. And I don't think that's how you operate, because it's not sustainable, because you're not building foundations to last. And foundations to last are necessary. And also, egos are using in the online space. Like, you're an individual running your individual business is the majority of how it works. But old school businesses had people, they had advisors, they had a board of advisors sitting on their company that probably earned 0.5 to 1% of their company's equity value. And it was friends of theirs or people in their network that were good at specialties in regards to marketing, product, branding, sales, etc. They would come in and just give an overview every now and then of, I think this is wrong, just change this over here, do this, I advise you to do that. And because we're in our business, no matter if you're the CEO or the founder, whatever it is, we're emotionally attached in some way. So sometimes we limit ourselves without knowing that we're limiting ourselves, because emotionally we don't want to risk certain things because our reputation or whatever it is, but that can be risked.
Yeah.
And so you need an advisor, you need people in your circle that are working internally in your business. So I would recommend anybody in the online space, get 4 or 5 year guys that are good at different things and have a weekly call, an hour long. The problems in your business, what's going right, what's going wrong, and give each other perspective on what to do better, because we don't do that anymore. We're very secretive about how much we earn or what we do or how we do this certain funnel or product.
Yeah.
Money's infinite. Who gives a fuck if your funnel works? Tell your friends.
Yeah.
Because money, like that limiting belief of the thing that I'm doing right now is finite is what will hold you back from going in the first place. So them 2 times were huge for me.
Let's touch on the celibacy first. Because that is fascinating. And look, it's a lot of self-control. I think we touched on at the beginning of the podcast, like lust is such a thing. I think because men are biologically wired, see attractive woman walk past, just straight away you get a dopamine hit, you know, and you get after her. Because our whole reason for being here is to procreate, is to pass on genes. But you've got to go above that. And I just think it really is a killer for men. All men struggle with it. So for a man that has mastered that, it's like you're the master yourself. But what did you say? What was it that you learned about yourself? I know you said the paradigm changed, but what did you actually learn about yourself when you went celibate?
So there's one advice I want to give here is like, I don't mean go celibate in regards to don't talk to women. Don't be a weirdo.
Can you still be kissing them?
Look, maybe. Look.
Just not sleeping with them. Just not sleeping with them.
Yeah, just keep it tame, right? But the point is, you need to know that you can get it. But then have the ability to say no.
Yeah.
And so like
that's what self-control is.
I talk the talk, but as soon as it came to game time, I was like, I'm not playing.
Yeah. And that is the ultimate control.
The ability to walk away from something that you know is like possibly beneficial right there and then.
Temptation as well.
Man, you
pleasure,
master of
sex,
self.
Yeah, master of self.
It's like everything. And so I learned in that moment, if I can say no to the biggest temptation that there is, which is
sex,
a gorgeous woman, and everything that comes with that, I can do anything, because I see my competitors around me, they fall victim to it all the time. And so I knew that like if I could master this one aspect of my life, I can go on. If I know I can control that one thing, if I have the ability to know it, my head disciplined enough to say no to that one temptation, it's the biggest temptation in the entire world. There's like 7 sins in the Bible, and lust is the one thing they don't even say you should battle. You don't even fight with it. You run.
You run from it. Okay, yeah.
Like everything else, they say like, okay, lean on Jesus, pray, he will take control of it. Lust, they say run. Like it's easier to avoid temptation than it is to resist it. If you're not in the room, you don't have to play ball. So just don't go into the room.
I find it hard to conceptualize why it is such a struggle for all men. Because I think, like yourself, you kind of removed yourself so far from it now that, you know, it talks about like one of the major sins in the Bible as well is to, if you have a partner, to commit adultery as well. I'm just like, how could you do that to someone you love?
Oh man,
I honestly, man, try and like, I'm not superior in any shape or form to any other man out there. I'm not saying it from this perspective at all.
You are, bro.
I'm not at all. But I just believe like you should have that fucking self-control over yourself to just be such a pure individual that lives so truly to who you are that should never even enter your mind, especially if you have a woman that you love. Why would you, like, that's so painful, man. Like, betrayal. I just think trust, the breakdown of trust between two people and betraying someone that you love because you wanted that moment of instant gratification with someone else, but it's so deeper than that, man. It's so much deeper.
It's harder than ever before, though. Like, adultery is harder than ever before. Like, access to
man, I see, do you know, man, I'd break it down to this, right? So I'd see if you're with someone and you're watching porn, it's not adultery, not say, but it's a form. It is. Okay, actually, it is. I'm glad you took the words in my mouth. Yeah. It is adultery. Do you know, man, when I've had girlfriends in the past, I would unfollow all the previous girls that I may have been with or, you know, that I have any interest in because I don't want that fucking temptation to like their photo. Because I'm often thinking, what if my girlfriend now sees I'm liking another girl's photos? What's my intention behind that? Your intention when you like a photo is majority of the time, if it's a lad liking a girl's photo, you want to get with them. It's plain and simple, man. Majority of the time, unless you know them as on a friend basis. Yeah. But to be honest, man, you're showing interest. You want to maybe start messaging them, get this going a small bit. Let's get on a date. But the thing is, like, don't let that enter your, like, remove all temptation, get rid of it, and just know you're above it as well and more superior to it. Because if not, like you said, you see it as brittleness. You like you touched on there, them guys that maybe give into it. it's a weakness, man. It's a chink in your armor, and
Do you know
nobody admires it.
Because micro cheating so easily.
Micro
Cheating means liking a story. Micro cheating means,
Man, I actually like it. That's a good term. Micro cheating. That's a very fucking good term.
It's micro cheating, but like it's micro cheating on self. Because I think I just waffled there. Yeah,
it's good. It's
but it's so easy because now, like, the world is actually fucked if I think about it. Anyway, it's so easy to micro cheat. It's so easy to like a story. It's so easy to like an old post. It's so easy to look the wrong way nowadays because of your access to anything you want to view ever. Even by accident, you can probably micro cheat. And so like you kind of get on this like wavelength of, I kind of like this like feeling. I kind of like being liked by other girls to my story. And so like you kind of start enjoying like the micro cheating because you're like, oh, I'm not actually cheating, but like you get a dopamine hit from it. And so nowadays, I'm not sure what the solution is here, but like to be with someone, dependency means I think the only way the household can operate nowadays moving forward is the man depends on God, okay? And the woman depends on the man.
Yeah.
And he leads the household. And it's the only way that we can work because we need to be disciplined, man. We can't.
That's what gets you closer to God as well.
We can't lean into these micro temptations because if you micro lose all the time, it stacks up. And it's going to lead to this one moment of like, you know, like that wasn't really cheating. And then you get to this like certain scenario to where like, maybe like if I've done this before, so if I do a little bit more, like maybe it's not really crossing the line still, and like it
creeps in, man.
It creeps in.
I love what you said there about God. Actually, we'll veer the conversation this way because God has become present in my own life, and I know He's been very present in your life as well. Like you touched on before we got going, but you touched on something very key there. So the man has that belief in God, or is belief? Is that the words you used there? What did you say there? The man has a belief in God, and then the woman has a belief in the man.
Yeah, like depends.
Depends. But I heard something recently about marriage. I never understood this about marriage, man, until recently. I used to think there's two people come together, they get married. But it's a triunion. You're getting married, the man, the woman, to God, which is fascinating, man. I was like, oh my God, man, my whole paradigm changed when I heard it. I was like, this is fascinating. And like,
because you go to Him, not to each other.
Yeah. And that's like, I don't believe, I'm not at this age. I'm 28. I'm obviously a bit older than you. Man, I'm not dating a girl for a girlfriend, man. I'm looking for a wife. You know, are you genuinely looking for one? I'm not just saying this.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know, you could go have sex with so many different women, whatever. It's so fucking soulless. It's so empty. There's no depth there. There's no connection. It's shallow. It's so shallow. I'm just like, you want a woman that you love, that you want to have a family with, that you want to raise children with, and have them, like you said, all connection and in unison with God. That is what we're missing. I don't even think that message is spoken about enough, man. I think that is what we all want. And when a family is strong, that's a blessing.
It's a beautiful thing to
It's a beautiful
see.
thing, man.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful thing. Like,
I think that like sometimes we can fall victim yet again to scarcity of believing that these girls or relationships or guys for girls don't exist. And so I think the worst thing we can do to ourselves is have the scarcity mindset of it's so rare that like I don't know how I'm going to find this thing, because then you start micro judging people that come into your life and like you start seeing the flaws in them versus seeing like, okay, they actually are a good person.
Yeah.
And so like I've found myself in the past, I think the way that the world has gone is like, you know, the red flag here, red flag there. If my man doesn't do this, he doesn't do this. Like he hasn't brought me flowers. Oh, he only brought me this small bouquet, but this guy got a bigger bouquet like for his girl. And so it's like you start to want to see the flaws in something that's actually positive. And I know that 100% I was victim to this, but like I would meet someone who's a good person, but I'd be like, okay, well, if they did this one action, I seen this like Instagram where it's like maybe they cheat me then. Or it's like you don't have faith in the person that you're with.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That is a great point, man. I think men, we're weird. We're designed, we're very protective.
Over-assess.
We over-assess things. We're very protective. And sometimes that is a flaw in ourselves. And, you know, that kind of jealousy. I think men get jealous more often than we like to admit, especially when you've got someone you love, when you've got a partner,
hard,
man. Fucking me. Like, people don't, like, oh, man, it's so difficult. I just think men are naturally possessive. When you've got a beautiful woman with you and she's by your side, you'd fucking nearly kill another guy if he goes near her. So it's like, it's very hard to conceptualize for a woman because they're like so beautiful and feminine. They're just kind of, you know, away with the fairies somewhat. So they don't see it.
The master of self though is like giving them the free. Like I've learned recently, the next person I'm with, or choose to be with, they will get free will and they get to do what they want to do. Because I'm going to give them free will from the get go.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a reflection of who they are. And so it's like, I'm actually not going to be in any ways jealous or asking who this is, where you're going, what you're doing. If I need to know something, I will know it.
Yeah.
It will come back to me.
You also feel it as well, man.
100%.
I think when you're aware as well, you pick up on these things where maybe before it's trial and error. You learn, you're maturing as well. So there's a lot that goes into it. But I think that comes down to what you touched on there. Is just even a greater trust within yourself to give the woman you're with just that free will. You know, let her go do what she's going to do. Because like, trust is so fundamental. You can't build anything, man, without trust. And I often say, like, trust is like a glass vase, and you know, you can never drop it, because if you drop it once and it falls on the floor, it's all these different fragments, and it's never the same. So having trust is just fundamental, man. You can't build anything in life without trust.
And that's why good parenting is very important, because you know, often a man or woman is just a reflection of their upbringing. Most of the time, it's hard to change, and you want to change it because you can see the good in somebody, but like, past trauma and recurring behavior sometimes just won't change because they think it's normal.
Yeah.
I think it's acceptable.
Yeah.
And going and lowering your energy to try fix certain things in somebody is not where you should be at. You should be at it equally yoked, as they say in the Bible.
Yeah. And that's a great point you mentioned about upbringing as well, because your childhood, a lot of events that happen in your childhood, they form your like attachment styles and how like your everything else that goes with it. And that also plays out in your relationship. So if you've had a troubled upbringing, it can feed into your relationship as well. So look, that's a whole different conversation for another day. But where'd you come in your family? Are you an only child, or are you many siblings?
First kid.
First, so competitive spirit.
Competitive spirit. Learned with my parents because it was their first time too, and so I think learned with them. They always say like their first child is their greatest teacher, and I guess like we also have a responsibility as a first kid, or as a person in general, to give back and help our siblings as much as possible.
Yeah.
And my family I'm actually so blessed, bro, because I know that most people come up with tough upbringings. I have friends who have really tough upbringings, really tough stuff with parenting and siblings and so on. I've seen that side in like one of my parents has a more difficult side of their family where things weren't very nice, and I've seen what that looks like. I've seen polar opposites. So I've seen that side and seen what my mother has done, the work within herself to become the version of herself that she is today, to not bring that on to her kids and not give us that like feeling of what she grew up with.
Yeah.
And now my sister carries herself like a lady. Like I would, bro, like I don't want to imagine having a sister who's promiscuous or out there, and you know, like people could say things. Yeah. And like my sister gives me zero worries if that's like she carries herself like a lady. And my brother is just like a really pure-hearted young lad as well. He's like 15, and he just like he's respectful of himself, respectful of people, and that's all you can ask for in the people that you surround yourself with. That you don't need to like put out fires constantly, because that drains yourself.
That is so true. Touching on numbers, obviously you come first in your family. Are you big into numerology, or how do you view that?
I actually went for a spiritual massage recently because it was advised to me by friends, and I think that numerology and science people separate as like a different religion. I think it's just an addition to the scientific beauty of the creation, of how in depth it is and how magical it is, and the fact that your birthday, or the numerology that is around your name and your date of birth, is beautiful because it's so right. And so it's like, I'm born on the 11th of the 10th, 2003. It's one of the only numbers that gives a pure 8. Yeah. And so like people often have like, you know, a 1 and a 7, a 17, which means 8 also. But like I'm a pure 8, which is like power and wealth, right? And 11 is heavily towards intuition because it's 1 and 1. Like that's an intuition thing. But 1 and 1 means 2. And to access your intuition, she said, well, you have self-esteem, self-discipline, and to access yourself, you need to be alone. And so it's like, to access your intuition, to be the best version of it, you need to be the best version of self. You need to listen to yourself, have your own thoughts, your own beliefs, and you will feel intuition. Like my number is heavily towards intuition. Like it's a very pure intuition number that I know that what I'm doing based off what I think is right and what I feel in my heart will probably be right. And I struggle with this because I said to you, I definitely am a confident person. And I, for some reason, just think that most of the time I'm right. But like, I don't think of it in an arrogant way. I just think like, if someone is around me, if I take the lead, it's going to work out in a positive way. And I don't know if that is arrogance or if it's actually just severe trust in my intuition that I know that what is for me is actually going to work and what I feel called to do is going to work. And
That's a beautiful thing,
but
man.
in relationships, that can be viewed as like, oh, he's arrogant, he's controlling. But like, no, I'm like, if you actually trust me and you listen to what I'm saying, I actually think it's going to be right. which is probably...
Man, it's an advantage, definitely not a disadvantage.
Okay, yeah. It just has to be probably tamed and messaged in a good way.
Controlled in a good way. But that's a strong thing, man. You got to.
Do you believe in numerology?
I haven't delved that much into it, so I can't say. What the numerology of your name?
Just put in like, I'm born on this date, this year, this month.
Do you think it plays out in real life?
It does. It really reflects, because like some people are like a life path number like 6, for example, which could be like very caring, nurturing, and you'll know them character types versus a number 8. I know people who are 8s who are so like me.
Yeah.
Like my ex was an 8 and I'm an 8, and the reason it probably didn't work out was because we're both 8s, and like she's extremely driven, nice person, wish her all the best, a good girl and good intentions.
There's a clash there.
It's too much of a power control.
We need
clash,
more.
I need someone to depend on my trust and my gut, my intuition. But if you're with another 8, it tends to be the fact that they want to also trust on themselves.
Yeah.
And so there's no reliance, and there's no like synchronicity. And so I think it does play in. And like, let's say for example, if you meet a 6 in person, you will notice that they're very like caring, nurturing. They'll probably listen to you. They're probably like more willing to take your lead. So I think it's interesting. And if you use it as an exercise, just to be more aware of yourself. That's all. That's all it is. It's not saying that you have to abide by everything and take it as literal.
No, it's a good point, man. And I think what you touched on there is compatibility. Like if you have 2 people that are both very strong-minded, and it's a clash, too much of a clash, where you need the yin and the yang to like form the piece together.
That's business.
Yeah,
relationships.
That's a great conversation. Let's bring it for Landon though. Tell me about God. You've got a very strong faith, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah. Where did that come from? Was it your upbringing, or how did God become present in your life?
I think my faith needs to be stronger.
Oh, it needs to be stronger?
Yeah.
How would you make it stronger?
Yet again, it's self. Like most people watching this will also agree. Like you're very disciplined with yourself. I'm not disciplined with my own time. I don't take Sundays to myself. I don't go on walks by myself. Everything I'm doing is with somebody else, or with somebody talking in my ear, would listen to a podcast. It's not James' time. And so, I don't like sit down and read too often, even though I want to. I don't really like, I pray every night.
Brilliant.
But like, I know that I need to lean on him more. And I think that's also a message that I've given to Irish people. Irish people aren't normally drawn to faith in any way. I think having good morals, values, and being raised on knowing what's right and what's wrong was simply a guideline to Christianity. And man,
it's a moral code.
You go to have you been to the US and gone to like a...
No.
You know, man, if you go to like a Baptist church, like a Christian church in the US, man, they're praising God, they're playing guitar, they're singing these worship songs, and the pastor comes out. The reason I don't believe in Catholicism necessarily is because, like, well, the priest, for some reason, isn't allowed to have a family. And to me, it's like the opposite of what God sends us here to do, which is procreate. It's like, it doesn't make any sense to me that the priest would have to be...
That's a good point.
It doesn't make sense. And so I want to listen to someone praise the word of God, living the word of God, having a healthy, nice family, good wife, nice kids. That to me is like, if they're saying something, I want to listen.
Yeah.
But if a priest says something, he's not speaking from
it's no experience.
It's not experience.
Yeah.
So like, how do you know family? How do you know love? Because you haven't felt love.
Yeah.
And so I in the US, man, even looking up some of their sermons, I think there's a church called 1122, and like the way the pastors come out, the way like the people worship, they're raising their hands, they're singing to God. I'm like, this is like the feeling. So I'm gonna go. I'm in the US, leaving tomorrow to the US, and I'm 100% going to like other a men's Bible group, which are also amazing, where men are studying the Bible together, knowing what it takes to be a man of faith and lead the household. And then on Sunday, I'm gonna try to get to a church and sing.
Do you do much Bible studies at the moment?
We actually have one every week with A players.
Okay.
So every Monday I get as many guys as possible to hop in, and we have a pastor who comes in and leads in faith.
Fantastic,
yeah.
man.
So yesterday evening we had Bible study.
Lovely stuff. Man, what conversation. It's been a pleasure.
Of course.
I did expect it to go well, and the expectation did follow through. Tell me, what is the impact you're looking to have now over the next, say, 6 months? What is something that you're looking to do? Obviously, you touched on the seminar that's coming up in December, but even from, I suppose, your own personal standpoint, what is something that you're looking to do over the next 6 months?
There's probably, yet again, I think there's 2 levels to it. Number 1 is like impacting as many people as possible, as cliche as it sounds, and putting them on the right path. And number 2 is this business venture stuff that we're on. I think that we can save and bring so many people to a side of business they would have never thought before, and unlock a new way of thinking, a new way of operating. And over the next 12 months, we're going to go on a PR type sprint in Ireland in the first 3 months of 2026.
Okay.
So like going on iRadio, Today FM, all these radio stations.
And is this to get younger people attracted in? And
Exactly.
What will they be coming into? Is it a combination of what you and Josh doing, or just?
I just want them to hear the message.
Okay, it's more the message
of what we're spreading.
Okay.
And the vehicle is down to self. Like some people aren't interested in what we do. That is fine. But Ireland lacks leadership. Man, look at the frauds at the front of our, like, man, they're not in zero way admirable to be anything alike.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be a good influence for this generation, and Josh as well. Like, we want to actually make an impact where these kids listen to us and they're like, okay, I want to aspire to be like them.
Yeah.
They look after themselves. They make good money for themselves. They don't take drugs. They don't do anything. They're not reliant on women. Like, they're good influences.
Everything we kind of spoke about today.
100%. And I think that if you look at the absolute frauds in charge of certain aspects of our country, I would not trust them with my wife, my kids. No way.
That
and
is
they're
the greatest
bought and sold, James.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They rely on, like, this is my biggest assessment of whether I'd vote Trump or Biden, was the fact that Trump is independent of finances. Okay? So that means he's more likely to say or do what he needs or wants to do. Whereas if you're paid for as a president by the government, that means that to a degree, you have to watch what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because if you don't say the right things, you're not going to get paid, or you're going to get removed very fast because you're relying on someone else's paycheck.
Yeah.
And this government is reliant on paychecks of different interests from the European Union, from different world leaders and interests. I don't want to go too deep into a black hole about, but they're paid for.
Yeah.
And their opinions are bought and sold. And the only reason I'd kind of percent of me would want McGregor to be in charge, even though he's a lunatic. I don't like that. I don't agree, but I think it would be nice and refreshing to have leadership that isn't reliant on the paycheck of leadership.
Yeah.
And they aren't bought and sold, and they're all puppets to something. I might end up shaking a couple of their hands just by accident over the next couple of months, but I don't. I think Ireland needs a refresh in young leadership.
Yeah, I love that, man. Well, you're going to be the face of it. Definitely so, man. You've got that drive about you, and like you said, you always know you're right as well, which goes a long way. Man, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to finish on a prayer.
Wow.
I think you'll recognize it. I'm going to go for it. All right. So, Heavenly Father, thank you for this moment, for the breath in our lungs and the lessons hidden in our journey. Even when we don't fully understand what you're doing, we trust that you are working behind the scenes, shaping us for something greater. As you say, as your word says in John 13:7, you do not realize now what I'm doing, but later you will understand. Help us to walk in faith, not fear, to surrender control and embrace the process, to trust that every delay, detour, and challenge has a divine purpose. Let this episode be a seed of hope for someone listening. Let it remind them that they are not forgotten, not behind, just being prepared. Lord, we give you all the glory. And to every person tuning in, thank you. Thank you for showing up, for listening, for being open. This space exists because of you, and I pray it blesses you richly. Until next time, stay faithful, stay grounded, stay guided. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Boom. James Galligan, what a pleasure.
Wow.
Thank you so much, man.
Man, John 13:7 ending on that is powerful. I
knew you'd like that.
That's an amazing touch.
Boom.
Amazing
We're all
touch.
done.
Amazing. Pleasure.